Welcome to the summary of The Joy of Connections, 100 Ways to Beat Loneliness and Live a Happier and More Meaningful Life by Dr. Ruth K. Westheimer. Let's uncover the gems together. Key point 1. Connection versus loneliness. Loyal and sincere friendships have always been worth the while. However, we rarely mention the work it takes to build them. Today, it's even more difficult because of the epidemic of loneliness that started after the real pandemic. Loneliness is about the quality of connection in your life, not the quantity. Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Getting out of isolation can be challenging when it becomes a comfort zone. But at the end of the day, many of us crave connection, a basic human need. Dr. Ruth Westheimer believes that loneliness is a feeling you can overcome with specific actions. If you find some of the most effective ones, you can return to the original material and try some more. Imagine entering a fancy restaurant, and Dr. Westheimer is your chef tonight. Your menu for connection consists of caring for yourself, family, friends, and lovers, community, technology. Starting with yourself guarantees harmony with the rest of the menu, so be mindful before entering this restaurant. So, are you ready for your first course? If you like the selected ways, return to the source for the rest. You only feel joy with others if you can share it. Key point 2. I comes before we. Connecting with yourself before anyone else is the most logical step when you want to have closer and more intimate relationships. Unfortunately, loneliness is something you may overlook not only in others, but also in yourself. If you have never had the opportunity to develop self-awareness naturally, it may feel challenging to do it on purpose. The 2024 Meta-Gallup survey indicates that 1 in 4 adults, over 1 billion people, relate to some level of loneliness. Social isolation has little to do with the number of people around you, unlike sincerity with others and yourself. Dr. Westheimer offers several ways to rebuild rapport with yourself. Some of them are well known, which means they must be working, so you may want to consider making peace with your differences, letting more people into your life, putting yourself first. No friend or partner can lift all your emotional luggage, just as you can't lift theirs. There would be no putting yourself first rule if everyone did so. So take a deep breath of courage and list everything that makes you different. However, a physical or mental disability can make your life more difficult compared to others, so make sure you include it if you have one. Many people start working with a therapist for this journey, and it can be helpful for you as well. That said, sometimes life takes a toll on everyone, and we need others more than ever during these times. If you tend to isolate yourself under stress, you may want to seek company. You can use a prop, a book, a band tee, or your dog to strike up a conversation with someone new. Research shows that even a small conversation with a stranger can make both you and them feel happier and more connected. Loneliness doesn't come from the number of friends, but from the quality of connections. Of course, sometimes you can be rejected, but treat it as a simple mismatch because you two have unique personalities. Still, you may want to return to your turtle shell. But while you're healing there, prioritize yourself by freshening up your appearance, asking for help when it's too much, taking care of your physical health, indulging yourself through a purchase or service, masturbating. Remember, Dr. Westheimer is a sex expert. Key point 3. Unminding family ties. Your family has a crucial impact on your life and self-perception. Unfortunately, it includes both good and bad influences. Some people leave their parents' homes happy and full of dreams, while others vow never to return. Everyone's story is different, but at the end of the day, it leads to one conclusion. Family can still heal your wounds, whether biological or made of closest friends. The American Psychological Association defines loneliness as discomfort or uneasiness from being or perceiving oneself to be alone. In other words, your loneliness depends on you. Making an effort to build bridges with other people will likely change your perception of loneliness and make it more positive. Having a family can mean bonding with blood relatives, having loyal friends you consider family, or creating one with your partner and kids. Fur and human children count. Dr. Westheimer firmly believes in keeping in touch with family, even if some of its members are not easily tolerable. See the following advice and decide if it works for you. Be a good listener. We all have a relative who can talk for hours. Try to play along and listen. They will appreciate your attention. Give family gatherings a chance. If you get invited to a wedding, graduation, or a close-knit meeting, accept it. Remember, you can always chat with your cousin you haven't seen for a while. Forgive your elders. Older people are often immune to change. It's better to accept it and focus on your other relationships. Growth always happens outside your comfort zone, so let your family be a harbor to rest. But what do you do if the relative you love is estranged due to life circumstances? The only answer is to take the initiative. Make the first step toward reconciliation with that relative. Call them and set a meeting if possible. If the relative has passed away, mention them at family gatherings, visit their grave together, or do something else to keep them alive in your family's memories. Finally, what could connect relatives better than a good old-fashioned game night? Monopoly, Wordle, and UNO are the traditional go-tos, but don't be shy about trying out a new game that interests you at the store. Bring it as a gift, organize a food table, put on a movie, and have a good time. Key point 4. The world is your playground. Friends and lovers enrich our lives more than we may realize. When life catches up, it's easy to overlook our friendships. However, friends and lovers are the ones we turn to during difficult times. So strengthening these relationships is a life or death matter. One thing to remember is that not everyone you know automatically becomes your friend. There are colleagues, casual friends, childhood friends, acquaintances, and even friends with benefits. You meet them at certain times of your life, then become naturally closer or drift apart. Some know pieces of you, but only the closest ones know the whole puzzle. Not everyone you meet is friendly or pleasant. People who like to complain or grumble are not rare. Unfortunately, they cannot offer a positive relationship. Dr. Westheimer suggests surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, but cutting off those who don't align with your path or values would be rude. Taking small steps toward your new social circle will slowly reduce your contact with uncomfortable people. Let the split happen naturally. People often judge others by their cover. First impressions are significant, but they can also be deceitful. One meeting gives you just a glimpse of the other person's life. They could be tired from work or overly excited after passing a hard exam. In such scenarios, treating them as gloomy or overwhelming is easy. We forget that we can unintentionally lash out at someone because of stress or frustration. To break this cycle, Dr. Westheimer suggests becoming a proactive friend by setting a time and place to meet in person, looking for common interests with new acquaintances, hanging out with friends from hobby places like dance lessons or book clubs in other settings. Make frequenting a nearby cafe or a restaurant with your close friends a weekend tradition. Throwing a party or even treating the bar visitors to a round of drinks if it's your birthday. Overall, the point of these activities is to encourage you to be bolder and meet new people in more versatile ways. The human connection lies in effort and, most importantly, sincerity. Did you know? The 2019 study by Dr. Jeffrey Hall, director of the Relationships and Technology Lab at the University of Kansas, found that it takes at least 120 hours over the first 3 weeks to become good friends and more than 200 hours over 6 weeks to become best friends. Key point 5. Neighbors can be friends. Humans are communal creatures, but we tend to forget that nowadays. Now that working from home is more convenient and life gets busier overall, making new connections has started to feel like too much effort for unknown results. This is where Dr. Westheimer would disagree. New connections require risk-taking, but people feel lonely and underwhelmed without them. it's time to return to the community. All right, where do you start? The first thing that comes to mind might be book clubs or yoga classes in a park, which are great starts if you're a fan of either. Making a big town feel smaller by contributing to local communities is another way to feel rooted. Volunteer with a group that helps older people, or give your time to an animal shelter and start from there. The only rule to follow is authenticity. Do not participate as a means to an end. Choose a group whose mission you're passionate about. Look at the situation from another perspective. What would you talk about with people with whom you share no common values or interests? Being a mentor is also a good opportunity to rediscover yourself and your skills in a new setting. As a teacher, Dr. Westheimer enjoyed working with bright, energetic children who challenged her to think differently. Many mentoring programs are designed to share experiences. You may have something valuable to bring. By committing to activities that are meaningful to you, you enrich your self-worth and connection with yourself. However, if you struggle to come up with ideas, your neighbors are here to help you. Or, better said, you are here to help them. Isn't it confusing that we don't know people we share a house or a neighborhood with and see almost daily? Connections are waiting to be made, yet we hesitate for whatever reason. Be observant. Your neighbors can be a married couple with a newborn or an older person who may need assistance. So, the next time you see them, try asking if they need help with groceries, babysitting, or something else. Offering a tea or coffee night. Bake a cake or order delivery and visit your neighbor. Asking them out on a friendly date to a bar, cafe, or even a weekend breakfast. A good friendship is not only about giving, it's often about the courage to ask for help. Key point 6. In favor of technology. People have been demonizing technology for many reasons lately. As messages are less time-consuming and convenient for younger generations, spending quality time together has become more difficult. However, things are rarely only black or white, and so is technology. For Dr. Westheimer, phones and social media are great for deepening relationships, but not how you may imagine. First and foremost, nothing can replace in-person communication like a late-night chat at the bar or morning gossip in the office. Real-life communication is fundamental for building a solid community, but keeping it up every Friday night can be challenging in this day and age. Conversation is the most human and humanizing thing we do. Sherry Turkle. Technology is indispensable to match your schedule and social life in times like these. Let's look at the ways your phone can enhance your communication. Put you out there if you're an introvert. Noting little things about people in your phone. Using dating apps to make friends. Extroverts usually find it easier to strike up a conversation than introverts, and that's why social media has become the perfect medium for the less courageous. Note apps have been saving millions of people with shopping lists. However, they are also handy for jotting down a person's favorite brand, a country they want to visit, or a singer they're dying to see. Next time, you can surprise them with a small gift or show them you care. Ironically, dating apps are great for finding friends. You may not become lovers after a few dates, but why not stay in touch if you have a common interest? Ask them next time you don't have anyone for a night out. To avoid confusion, clarify you're on friend terms. Dr. Westheimer believes people can isolate themselves by plugging their ears, thus losing a precious opportunity for communication. As it seems, technology still hinders genuine and serendipitous connections, so it is better not to rely on it too much. Instead, you can try engaging in more live conversations than texting, starting a small talk with someone sitting next to you in a queue, joining interest-specific groups, giving yourself 7 minutes to engage in a conversation, but don't hesitate to end it if you can't build a rapport. Conclusion. Life is a risky but fun adventure of making friends, lovers, and even families. As it turns out, you don't need to become the chattiest person in the room to make memorable and wholesome connections. Focusing on your needs before you can care for your loved ones is paramount. Then, you can start putting yourself out there whenever you feel ready. Who knows? Maybe you'll discover a piece of yourself in the process. Try this. Practice small talk with yourself in a mirror. How will you talk to someone you like if you're nervous about talking to a random person? Don't cancel the evening if you're anxious. Remember, showing up is half the deal done. Observe your boundaries with new interactions. If something makes you uncomfortable, you'll know to avoid or address it next time. Don't be embarrassed to practice a joke or a conversation starter before going to a party. If you're an introvert, it will only show your dedication to make friends. But don't forget about recharging right after. That's all for now. More intriguing summaries are just a click away.